Court of the United States just overturned Roe v. Wade. I had the news that the law was being reviewed a month or two ago. I had no idea what it was, so I researched. And what I found out what it was, I immediately thought, that's ridiculous. There's no way they're trying to decide what a woman can or cannot do with her body. However, what I once found absurd will now become a nightmare for women, particularly for women who are either middle class or poor, since rich women can either travel to a state where abortion is permitted or even another country. Before we get into any of those though, let's discuss what Roe v. Wade is and its background before moving on to that. In essence, Roe v. Wade is a legal precedent that generally upholds a pregnant woman's freedom to decide whether or not to have an abortion. Even though the main focus is on abortion, it also protects trans rights, adoption, donors, and same-sex marriage. It essentially mandated that all 50 states allow abortion, but since it was overturned, it is now up to each state to determine whether or not to do so, which is just insane. If you hadn't already guessed, I'm pro-choice, but I do have a message for pro-lifers. The whole debate whether life begins at conception is basically insignificant. Even if it did, which I for one don't believe it does, body sovereignty or having complete control over one's body is very important. It's similar to the idea that if I needed a blood transfusion, I wouldn't get one if you didn't agree to it. Even if my life was in danger, it's still your body, still your blood, so your choice. Organ transplants follow the same logic. You can't be made to do it just because another person's life is in danger. That end the matter in my eyes. Body sovereignty should be enough argument for you to choose whether or not you want an abortion. But pro-lifers need another reason. Well, another reason is that abortion constitutes a type of medical care. There are many risks associated with pregnancy, and there are countless of issues that could arise throughout it and endanger a woman's life. Anything from ectopic pregnancy to labor itself, abortion does indeed save lives. Another argument is that only poor women who are unable to travel to another state or another country where abortion is permitted will be impacted by the ban on this procedure, which will force them to have a child they cannot support, further pushing them and their family into poverty. The fact that you're banning abortion does not mean abortion won't happen. It means that safe abortions won't happen. By making them illegal, you're endangering additional lives. My final point is pro-lifers are inconsistent. There are many people who will claim that America is the land of the free, where people should be able to practice their religion openly without fear of retaliation or persecution as long as their belief and actions don't interfere with the freedom of others. This is admirable, and I support it. But despite all of this, they cheer when the Supreme Court takes a move that blatantly violates that freedom, possibly the first of many that aim to force their own religion dogmatic ideas onto others. There are people who claim that life is precious in this argument, but when it comes to issues like healthcare, economics, or gun control laws, their behavior suggests that they have forgotten the incredible beauty and dignity of life. Yes, life is precious, but the right to carry a gun is more precious. The next thing you're going to see is a video.
We will make sure that when a kid is in the womb, they're as safe as they are in a classroom, the workplace, a nursing home, because every stage of life.
But are we sure that American children are safe in classrooms? Because school shootings have risen over the last decade, more so than ever. And that's because of the lack of gun control laws. Like, I could go into a shop and get a gun and go decide to shoot a classroom all in the span of 30 minutes. Even less if, the school is nearby, the shop that sells the gun is nearby. That could happen within, 20 minutes? And in 20 minutes I've just killed a bunch of children and we're saying that they're safe in the classroom. Does that make any sense? Also, you're forcing women to have an abortion. What if they can't take care of the kid? Oh, another point that pro-lifers bring up is foster care. Put them in foster care. Okay, did you know that foster care is one of the worst? Americans' foster care is one of the worst systems. Foster care in general is horrible. Sexual abuse happens, physical abuse. So many disturbing things happen in foster care. And that's not even all. Hey, at least the child is surviving. Right? At least the child is being born. That's all that matters to them. They don't care what happens after.